Got a review here of the Asus T91MT netbook. This is a convertible netbook that not only does the screen flip up, but it actually swivels around, goes back down, and becomes a actual tablet. This is probably one of the first netbooks I've seen do it. That not only does it in that mode, but it also has the multi-touch and the ability for the screen to be interacted in with a stylus as well. The stylus, of course, stores in the case of the system, right along the right side if it's facing you, keyboard facing you. As you see, the screen just flips up like a standard laptop, and then it just swivels around. Very little effort. I can actually pretty much do this just one hand. Swivels around, lays down. You've got the power button and the screen rotate button. Doesn't have an accelerometer in it. I would like to have seen one in this so it can automatically detect which way you're facing it. But for the price, it's I don't blame that. Basically how this button works is you hold in for 3 seconds, a little icon pops up, shows you how the orientation will be. You release it when you see how it is that you want it, and it goes that way. Some of the ports on this thing, we've got the standard video port there. My finger's blocking the light. Standard VGA port. You've got a USB port on the right side, standard Ethernet port, headphone and microphone. You've got your stylus. On the front of the system, you have a SD card slot. On the left side, you have your power, another USB port, and this here is a expansion drive slot, so to say, but it actually takes a SD card on top of that, so it acts as basically a second storage slot. You basically have 2 SD card slots in this thing. You also have on it a webcam and 2 microphones, which means this thing has noise cancellation ability. Icons on the front, you got standard caps lock, your wireless if it's on, hard drive light, and the battery indicator. Hard drive is a solid state SSD. This runs pretty fast. Actually, the drive that comes in it is pretty darn quick, and for the startup time here, I'll let you see that. I've got the camera on manual focus here because of this having a glossy finish. It seems the camera doesn't like that for auto adjusting, and the lighting here is providing a glare. As you can see, you kind of see the fingerprints here, but when I'm actually looking at it, I don't see them. I mean, I have to get at really a steep angle for me to be able to actually see it, the fingerprints. And if I look at it head on, which I'm going to try and tilt it up out of the light, you don't see those fingerprints. You don't see them at all. So I'm going to log in here real quick. And that was the entire startup sequence you saw there. I just put in my password and video started again. It's a little hard to read it because, let's face it, it's never really good to try and record a screen. The color looks a lot more crisp and balanced than it does on the camera here. It looks just like a normal display. I'm actually running on battery mode at the moment with this guy. I found that actually I'm getting about 6 hours of battery life out of this thing, which actually impressed me considering it's saying I should only get about 5. So I'm actually getting more than advertised. And like I said, I hope I said before, it's running Windows 7 Home Premium for the operating system. It does have the touch tablet pack installed, so it does recognize gestures. I'm going to lay it down, you're going to get the nasty glare again. I want to kind of tilt the camera up. So things like doing a swipe up and down with my finger, or 2 back, 2 forward, It does the same thing as actually, you know, scrolling up or down, going back in your browser, forward in your browser, things like that. So you can go on through, use your gestures just like you would with like an iPod. You can scroll up and down on a page. You can even do the pinch and expand thing to make the page zoom in, text, things like that. But I find the text is already pretty easy to read. I don't have to adjust for that, but that works great for pictures. You can click on any text field and you'll get the little icon here. That's a keyboard. You can tap on that and you get an on-screen keyboard. And I'm running it in tablet mode here by having the screen down. You can use the full keyboard that comes with the system. You don't have to run it in tablet mode. But I like in tablet mode. I really wanted a tablet, and that's what I bought this thing for. The screen response is pretty darn good. If you're used to other things like an iPod, even the Palm Pre, it does take a little bit to get used to it. I find that the compared to the iPod or the Palm Pre, the touch positioning is just a little bit different. I think this is actually more accurate than tapping on a iPod or a Palm Pre. I actually find this is more accurate on where your finger's actually tapping compared to it. And it kind of takes a bit of getting used to if you're used to one of those other devices, because you'll be trying to tap a little bit off center like you get used to, and you find that it's not quite right. So yes, you got your standard screen capabilities, all that stuff with Windows 7, where you can go through, resize windows, move them around, all that good stuff. The device only cost about $550 when I bought it. They dropped the price recently to now $500. They did that like 2 days after I bought mine. And like I said, it runs just like normal Windows. And right there is probably the only issue I can say I truly have with this. Let me turn on our light again. You kind of see how I got a little bevel here around the whole thing. It's really annoying if you try and move or press something up in the corner here, because your finger is making contact with that bevel first before you really do the screen. So when you hit that close button, it's a little hard. You got to kind of shove your finger up there a little bit. It's not really hard or anything like that. It's just a little annoying. Sometimes I find I have to try and close a window twice to really make it work. Some of the things you've seen me have difficulty tapping on the screen. Here it's really just me trying to operate it while looking through the camera. It's really easy to use. You want to do a right click, you just tap and hold. There you go. See how that little circle came up? And you get your right click menu that way. You can even do a double tap and you'll get your menu that way. It's actually pretty quick. If I go ahead and open up the disk mark that I did before on this. There we go. You can see I got 97.17 for read and 23.59 for write. And there we go. You see the multi-touch function actually works there. Works pretty good. Works better when you're not trying to do it with a hand you're not familiar with doing it with. I should be holding the camera with my left hand, shouldn't I? But yeah, it's very responsive. Works very well. A very impressive little device. And you can go through and upgrade this as far as the storage goes. Do want to warn you though that the storage in this is a PCIe solid state drive, so you can't go out and buy a normal SATA solid state drive and put it in it. The memory standard is 1 gig and can be upgraded to 2 gigs via this access door on the bottom. And as you may notice from the design of it, the battery is built into the system. It is possible to replace it, but you do have to take it apart to do that. So, But yeah, that's really it. You can even do handwriting recognition with it if you take your stylus out. Windows has that built into its tablet features. And people might knock this and say, well, Windows doesn't run good as a tablet. It really does. Windows 7 runs perfectly fine. I have no issues with it. And the reason Windows 7 does this better than XP does is because of its DPI adjustment features. It's very smart on that. So this has probably gone over my 10-minute limit, so I've probably had to trim some footage out. But that's all in his notes otherwise. And if you like this review, please subscribe, comment, etc. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.